You don't need a steamer and you don't need to rent a shampoo machine to shampoo your couches and make them look like new again. Today I'm going to show you my technique for making old furniture or old couches look new again. Welcome to Sawdust and Cornbread. I'm Laura Lee. On the last video, I talked about our 3 pieces of living room furniture that we did not pay for. They were handed down. It's probably 10 to 15 years old, but I have a secret for making them look new. By using this technique, you use less water, get off more soil, and you can get back to using the furniture faster. I'm going to start out by doing a thorough vacuuming. I like to use a shop vac. I just think it's more handy. You can roll it around as you move. It's more versatile. I run my hand in all of the crevices, find out if there's anything big in there. You never know what you're going to find in a couch. Then I'm going to use my funnel or my crevice tool to get down in there nice and deep and go through all the crevices. I'm going to put in some ear protection because these shop vacs can get really loud. Vacuuming in all the crevices, you might want to check your hose end every now and then because it gets clogged up really easily with hair and large items that you may have missed on your initial check. So just make sure that opening stays nice and clear so that you have good suction. On all of our couches, you can't get to the springs underneath, but if you have a couch with removable cushions, be sure to always vacuum out that protective covering on the springs underneath, because that's a place that harbors dander and hair and odors, especially if you have pets. Since our cushions aren't removable, I'm now going to use a flat attachment and go over every surface, back, front, top, bottom. With all of the vacuuming done, it's time to begin the shampoo process. To start that out, we're going to head to the kitchen sink. I have found 2 things work best for upholstery. Ours is a microfiber type upholstery, and this just seems to get it the cleanest, and it's plain old-fashioned Wool-Lite gentle laundry detergent. I put 1 capful in the sink with some hot water. If there's a greasy stain, like if somebody dropped popcorn and it left little oil marks, then I use a little bit of liquid dish detergent in there with the Wool-Lite. I've never shown you my little trick that I learned for making these last longer so you don't have to run back and forth from the sink as often whenever you're doing a project like this. You're going to hold it in half, fold it in half again, and that actually gives you 8 clean surfaces to work with, because you have 1 here, flip it over, you have 1 there. You open it up, 2 more surfaces. Flip it inside out, do the same thing again, and you automatically have 4 more clean surfaces. So we're going to use all 8 of those surfaces before we come back to the sink and rinse off our cloth. Just a little trick to save you some trips back and forth to the sink. I've got my cloth folded into 4ths so that I have 8 surfaces. I'm just going to dip that right down into my Wool-Lite water. Now this time I'm going to squeeze it out in the sink, but from now on, whenever you rinse, you want to, when you come back, you rinse your towel in the other sink with fresh water. You never want to dip it back into your clean water. That keeps this water fresh and ready for your next go on the couch. I always like to start at the top and work my way down, doing 1 section at a time, and I kind of section it off by wherever the seams are. So I'll do this block, and then if I need to rinse my towel, rinse it, then come back and do the next block. And I'm just going to go very lightly. On the back part, it's pretty stiff, so I just kind of go back and forth. Moderate pressure as I go along, and you can see it's already starting to pick up dirt. And I just continue that whole procedure on my first section, going back and forth, folding over my cloth if I need to for a new section. I pull it taut with 1 hand. That just helps me to get the surface area a little bit better. kind of tug and rub. And it really cleans the surface well without over wetting the surface. So you don't have dirt just leaching into the stuffing inside the couch. You're cleaning the surface, which is what has dirt on it. You don't need to soak all the way into the fluff underneath. Just using this one cloth, I've been able to complete this whole first section. I'm going to go over it one more time, lightly, in case I missed any spots. Good. Now I'll go to the sink, rinse this out, and begin the next section. And that's what I do over the entire couch. I'm back at the sink, ready to rinse my towel for the first time. So I'm going to rinse it off with some clean hot water in the side that does not have any water and woolite in it. Squeeze it out a couple of times before I dip it in my fresh woolite water. And that's what you want to do every time to keep your cleanser clean. And dip it again. I'm going to finish this last section and then this whole entire side of the couch will be done. And before I move on to the next section, I'm going to do a rinse cycle on it so that the soap doesn't dry on the couch. Now what I'm going to do is go back to the kitchen sink and do a rinse with just plain hot water, no detergent, to pick up all of those oils and soiled areas that have come to the surface. With the couch all rinsed, I have a few options. I can either let it air dry just as it is, which would be perfectly fine, or I can take it a step further to prevent stains and to help condition the couch. I can do the same method that we used for shampooing the couch, but instead of using detergent, I use a capful of my favorite laundry softener. It has a static guard, which is going to help now that it's getting cooler and we'll have the heat on, and the static charge in the house is going to be a little higher. But also you can let it air dry and then go over it with your favorite fabric sheet instead of using the fabric softener rinse. In that case, you would let the couch dry completely and just take a couple of drier sheets and go over the whole couch, lightly rubbing once it's dry. I wouldn't do that till it's completely dry, because if it's still wet, then it may make streaks on the couch. I'm going to go ahead and do a light rinse with one capful of my fabric softener in hot water. I'm going to fill the sink about 1/3 the way full again and go over the entire couch and give it a nice fabric softener rinse. I wish you could smell this as I'm doing the couch. It smells fantastic, and the couch will hold on to that light, fresh fragrance for quite a while. It's a great thing to do before company comes. If you're going to be using hand-me-down furniture, secondhand furniture, keeping it clean is a big key to using it for a long time. We have never owned a couch that I recall that was less than 10 years old. You haven't needed to buy a new one. Take care of what you have and it lasts and lasts. Think about how long your grandma had her couch. She took care of it. The entire couch with the fabric softener rinse. I could let it dry just as it is. Let it air dry, it would be no problem. I'm going to do one more step. I just do this every now and then, and take a dry terry cloth towel and lightly buff the couch one last time, just in case there's any trace of oils or surface dirt. To get that off, it also fluffs up the surface and gives it that finished, polished look.